Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order of January 4th work session. Please stand and do a momentary salute to the flag and a momentary moment of silence. Well, that was tough to say.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which I stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Dr. Baldino. Mr. Cannon.
Present.
Mrs. Donahue. Mr. Elling,
Present.
Mr. Johnston,
Here.
Mr. Knopf,
Here.
Ms. Lynch, Mr. Scaff.
Present.
This is here.
Okay,
Elizabeth's here.
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Can't unmute.
Oh, she can't unmute. Okay.
Oh,
Mr. Scott?
Now you can. Technology took care of it.
Got it. Thank you.
okay. Mr. Scaff
Present.
and Mrs. Smith,
Present.
7 members present.
okay. We had a presentation. It's going to be moved to a different night. Do we have any visitors we'd like to hear from?
I didn't have anyone
No
sign up.
visitors signed up. We'll just do the superintendent report. Superintendent?
So the first thing I wanted to share with you was this afternoon, this Lock Haven City Police received a call about a suspicious person near the Robb gun near the Robb school, potentially with a gun. The communication center put Robb Elementary on lockdown immediately and added police presence. They set up a perimeter and investigated. Within the hour, they apprehended the individual in question and took them into custody. The lockdown was lifted after approximately an hour, and the students were dismissed safely. I did get word from our transportation department that all the kids were delivered home safely. I want to thank several folks for their part in today's incident. First, Tyler Barth, the principal. Tyler became aware of the lockdown when it came over the loudspeaker in his building. That's how fast our comm center can help us out in the event of an emergency. But from there, our staff, families, and our administrators just did a great job in today's efforts to maintain order and safety while managing the situation. Our transportation supervisor, Shelley Ott, worked very quickly to establish alternative plans for a modified dismissal with the bus company and the drivers. Also, Dr. Zangara worked, a bunch of us working together with the school police. Patty Stevenson also for the communications. Want to thank our police officers along with the Lock Haven City Police Department for their immediate response and swift action. Successful crisis response does not happen out of sheer luck, and I want to emphasize how important it is for us to plan and practice for such events. We received several compliments, not only from some families that were involved, but they were very appreciative of the communications and how things were handled today. So again, kudos to everyone involved. And also January, this is something we do every year. January is School Director Appreciation Month, and in order of school board commitments to students, schools, and communities, we designate this month as school director recognition throughout the Commonwealth. Pennsylvania Public Schools educate nearly 2 million students. The 9 members of each local school board are a key part of the district's success, making informed decisions that shape public schools and provide a pathway to success for every student. School directors who are unpaid elected officials devote on average up to 10 hours per month to the challenging and complex responsibilities of board business, including adopting policy, voting on budgets, evaluating school security issues, and reviewing hiring decisions. I would say that I know for a fact that average of 10 hours a month comes from PSBA, but I know for a fact that our board members devote many, many more hours than 10 hours per month based on the committee work that they put in, the time that they spend reading, talking with folks in the community, and on their email and just reading and staying up to speed. So we plan to have some special events for you next week. So I hope that you're here in person to view those. And we have a video from our students and also a token of appreciation that was made by our students, and we'll present those to you next week. That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Martin. I think the next thing we have, I'm really glad to see on the agenda is something new we started. We're going to have reports from the student or student government. I think we have 3 representatives here this evening, one from the Bucktail High School, Central Mountain High School, and Central Mountain Middle School. I don't know where the 4th one's from, but if you would. how
I think
about-
we have 3 from Central Mountain High School, 1 from Bucktail High School, and I believe Mr. Romanishin has any, if you have any updates,
Okay.
that he has that. But we'll start with Martin, if you wouldn't mind going to the microphone, because as you know, if you don't speak into the mic, the people from home cannot hear you.
Just identify yourself and tell us where you're from. If we can't tell by looking at your sweatshirt.
He's repping. Yep. It is on. You can just pull it closer to your face there.
So my name is Martin Lewis. I'm a student at Bucktail. I'm a junior. Sometimes I forget what grade I'm in. This month's report, we have a short one. It was kind of difficult to come up with stuff because we just got back from break, but next month's will not be as short. Bucktail student government feels community involvement is a key part to the success of the schools and students. And we are looking to plan more community events to entice the community to become more involved in the school. Although we only just recently began our discussions on this, we plan to work with Mr. Polito to make these events reality, hopefully starting sometime in the 2nd semester. This month, our student government will be focusing on the length of our classes in the block schedule format, student engagement in the classroom, and the support provided to our teachers to effectively educate under block scheduling. We are expecting to hear more about block scheduling during our next meeting, as we have requested that we've requested Ms. Hewling to speak to our group about the topic and provide another point of view. You may be hearing about this more, you may be hearing more about this topic in our next student report. Student government has also discussed adding suggestion boxes around the building so that other students may air their concerns and opinions. We will regularly check these boxes, and the suggestions will be presented and discussed at student council meetings. To get the initiative started up and put out as soon as possible, we are planning to use shoe boxes temporarily until we can get permanent boxes to place in the building. The PBIS teacher team and student team are working together to plan more positive activities for this school year, planning things like classroom competitions, March Madness, and other events and activities. We are planning a 2nd semester reboot on January 29th to refresh students on roles and expectations, get students excited for the next semester, and develop student cooperation with different team working activities. And that is all that I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we have representatives from Central Mountain High School.
Hi, my name is Claire Bowman. I'm a junior from Central Mountain High School. Firstly, we want to thank you for the long break, as it was much needed for our students, staff, and administration to take a break from school and spend some time with their friends and families. Since our last meeting, many sports teams have won matches, games, and meets, including boys and girls basketball teams, our bocce ball team, boys and girls wrestling teams. As well as our drama club has had auditions and started regularly practicing for our upcoming spring musical, Mamma Mia. Performances on the 22nd through 24th of March. We also have students competing and attending the PA State Farm Show. Many CTE students are also competing in Skills USA. On the 25th of this month, our semesters will switch. The Sadie Hawkins dance is in a few weeks on January 27th. In our building, Keystone testing is currently going on in the building for many students as well. Again, student government would like to invite you all to come walk our halls and talk to our students in the building any day. We are still working on finalizing our bylaws and with the goal of having them done this winter. We hope to elect positions such as president, vice president, and cabinet members this year to serve for the 2024-2025 school year. We are also in the process of creating an avenue to have frequent meetings with our building admin to address issues affecting the building. Once our bylaws are complete, we plan to give a visual presentation about our structure, positions, and goals. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr.
Mr.
Romanesky?
No.
Cool.
Romanishin.
Romanesky.
I'll be quick. So I'm Dave Romanishin, the middle school principal. Just an update on where we are with the middle school student government is in December, we got through the selection process. So we have a 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grader who are part of our student government, and they are 5th grader Caroline's Sedaris, 6th grader Addison Kramer, 7th grader Katie Owens, and 8th grader Cameron Ryan. So we had our first meeting with student government on Tuesday, December 19th. And this was just our initial meeting during clubs where we met with the 4 students and Mrs. Welch, who's the club advisor, basically just giving them an idea of what student government is about, what their roles might be, and letting them know that because this is new to the middle school, it's exciting. They can kind of take a lot of different directions and letting them know that they have a lot of voice in where it's going. They are going to meet with the assistant principals and myself this Monday on December 19th for the first time. And we want them to be able to start making the connections with their students who are they're going to represent, and they're going to be the liaisons for us. So that's where we're at. And the hope is that, not the hope, but the plan will be that at the February board meeting, we'll have whether they're thinking about all of them coming to the meeting just so you can see their faces for the first time, or whether, maybe one will come and they'll plan one per month at the board meeting so you can hear from the middle school for the first time. So,
Cool.
thank you.
All right, moving on. Really have no committee reports since we didn't have any committees meeting within the last month. Next is information items, treasury report, financial report, and enrollment. Any questions on any of that? Moving to board items, the ESSER health and safety plan, the K through 12 is something we have to do. I believe it's biannually.
Every 6 months, it is required that the board review and approve the updated health and safety plan. This is again a federal requirement since we are expending and using the federal dollars.
And the same thing applies to the CTC program, which is pretty much the same document. Any questions on those?
It's exactly the same document. It's what we've been following for approximately 2 years now. We have not changed. The board has not wanted any changes to what we've been doing, and it seems to be working.
Next up is the MOU with the KCESP, the union.
This is a support staff member who is pursuing a degree in education to join the teaching force. They'll be taking an unpaid leave for the period of time that they need to do their student teaching. If many of the board members may recall that we had done this for another member of our staff who was looking at furthering their education and a degree. Basically, it just holds their position through the time that they're student teaching, and hopefully, in fact, that they can contribute to our workforce. We all know that the teaching profession is at a crisis level. If you look at the data surrounding teacher certifications across the Commonwealth, they're down significantly, the number of people who are getting certified in the teaching profession compared to previous decades. And so it's at an all-time low. So anything that we could do to support one of our own employees furthering their education and then using that, we are recommending that the board approve this MOU to hold this spot.
Any questions? Next would be a list of repository property bids.
I think was there a second MOU on there?
I didn't see another
The
one.
retirement one.
The retirement date extension.
This is with ACCE. It's just in the current contract, the retirement date notification for them to receive the benefits would be on December 1st to get all of the retirement benefits at the end of the year. However, what the request came that they may have some staff members who may want to make that decision. So this extends that December 1 deadline to see if anybody else would like to submit for retirement for the end of the school year. This has been done, and we haven't done it for maybe a year or two, but this is something that has been common practice with the school district in previous years.
Any questions on that MOU? All right, next up is repository
Oh, you're
bids.
so anxious
I
for
just,
this.
it's one of my favorite subjects for the newer members, what a repository bid is. His houses have gone through the sheriff's sale process and the judicial sale process. It goes on the list that the county has, and the county tries to clear that list a couple times a year. These properties are listed and they go anywhere from, I think it's $100 for a property, $500 for a property with a structure on. And then for other properties, it could be more depending on what's on it. So it goes up for bid. It has to be voted on by the county. The county already approved it. They sent it to us. We'll approve it. Then the host municipality will approve it. What the hope is. What happens then, that property goes to that person that bids on it. And it's listed at, I know there's one on there for a property that's listed as $100. It'll be listed on the tax rolls as $100 assessed value then. So it's, the county's hope is that we will sign off on this. And then they will be able to sell these properties to these people that bid on them and get them back on the tax roll. So I know there's 4 on there. Any questions on any of that?
That's one of your favorite subjects, I know that.
Yeah, my problem with it personally is once that property is sold at the repository sale, like I said, is listed as an assessed value. I know the one's on there for $100. So it's a piece of property, so it'll be assessed at $100 from now until the county does a reassessment. It'll be taxed at $100, and that's my problem with it. There's houses on there that someone could do some renovation to, as long as they don't get a building permit and raises the price on the building permit. It's still going to be assessed at that $500 rate, so they could be paying for years on something that the $500 rate. So it gets it back on the tax roll, but there has to be something looked at, and I've talked to the county treasurers numerous times. It's an issue with the state legislator that has to redo something to get it. So after so many years, it's reassessed, but oh well, that's my personal issue. So,
It's valid.
yeah. So moving right along in our policies, as you can see, we have 5 different policies on there that up for first read. So what will happen, we'll look at them. We'll go back on next month for.
Just a quick note, policies 104, 115, 116, 117 have been policies that we've had for a while. They've been updated just with any changes in law. But the therapy dogs in school is a brand new policy. This was a proposal that was brought forward to the policy committee. And in order to implement this pilot program that we'd like to do in the spring, that we'd like the board to consider this policy so that we could start that program.
Any questions on the policies?
Well, it looked like those first 4 had very minor, if any, changes in them.
Mostly reviews. What's the name of the therapy dog? What's the name of the therapy dog? Odessa.
When we start doing therapy dogs, are we gonna have to do therapy cats, therapy birds and everything else that
Mm.
people are claiming are their therapy pets?
Well, not unless there's a policy, Chris.
Okay.
Okay, there's no questions. Moving on. You have time to review the minutes for the board reorganization and the board voting meeting from December 7th. Any questions on those? Next up under business, we have bills that were being paid. Any questions on the bills? Second is a settlement agreement. Dr. Martin, would like to expand on that just a tad?
I don't think that I can.
Can. Okay. Excuse me. Next up is the award for bid for the Liberty Curtain project for the plumbing. As you recall, the plumbing came in way over the estimate. It was sent back out and rebid, and it's quite a bit under now what it was originally.
Yeah, I think originally it came in at 3.8, and so by rebidding, we came in at 1.7. There were 4 bids that were submitted this time instead of 1. Or there were 3? 3. We were expecting 4 and 3 showed. Thank you, Rob.
So we'll have to vote on that next meeting. Next is the independent evaluation agreement.
You'll see these from time to time if we have parents request independent evaluations by school psychologists outside of our own school psychologist. And this is one of those situations in which we believe the independent educational evaluation is warranted.
Any questions on that? Next, you have the personnel list. It's rather lengthy list of different items for people retiring, people transferring, people being hired. Any questions on the personnel list? Next up, we have an articulation agreement between Commonwealth University Lock Haven, the health occupants, and ourselves. You haven't had a chance to look that over. It's just something we do with LHU to have their student teachers or their come to us and work. Any questions on that?
So it's on your agenda. Not on here.
Next up is our list of our athletic personnel. Any questions on that list?
I do expect some additions to that before next week. So I'll alert board members via email if there are changes, or either Tracy or I will alert you to changes.
Any other questions?
Just wanted to note, one of the retirements that's listed this evening is on the agenda is for Lisa Bolapue. Lisa's been a nurse who's been working in the district for over 24 years. I know that many parents and students and family and staff members really highly respect her, and just want to wish her well in her retirement plans.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion, Mr. President.
We have a motion to adjourn. We have a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Did you see Dr. Baldino is on there? I don't know if he joined.
I did see
got
it.
it.
I
Okay.
did join.
Okay.
7:07.